Okay, this lesson is on rotating and mirroring. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into a pattern. Let's go ahead and scan this one in because I don't have something. No, I don't want a direct cut. I want to save data. We're going to go ahead and scan this image in. And this will be a good one for you to see the rotation and the mirroring. Okay, so I'm going to just make this an, let's see. I'm going to make this just an outline for this. And I'll bring this in so we save on file size. We don't need all that extra, and we'll go ahead and save it. And we'll save it to our USB, and that's number 66. Okay, so we'll go to the home. Okay, I've zoomed you in so that you can watch what I'm doing with this image. I went ahead and I'll retrieve it up. Go to that second page, and there's our outline. Okay, so now I'm going to show you in this editing screen some of the features. So this is the nudge feature, and that just moves you a little bit increments at a time on the screen. So if you're wanting to just move your image a little bit in one direction or another, you do that. Now over in this one, we'll go through a couple of things and then return to that one. Here, let's say we want to make this exactly 3 inches tall, and it's right now 3.31. So I'm going to drop this down until I get to 3 inches. Okay, and that makes it 2.18 width. Well, what if I wanted that exactly 3 by 2? I would go to this button here, I would turn that on, and then I could take this down, and now this one won't change. So with that off, it maintains proportions on both directions. With it on, it just does the one. So now it's going to make it narrower. So now we have an exactly 3 by 2 image. Okay, the next thing is rotation. I'm going to move this over. I got to move it over before we get in there. And I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. Now watch what happens to this thing. It actually flipped it 180 instead of 90. And the reason is it's pushed up against this side wall. And when you do that, it doesn't allow it to rotate 90. So I can go ahead and undo that and bring it into the center and do the 90 degrees, and then it will allow it to move 90 degrees. You can also do 10 degrees, 1 degree, whatever you want. Let's go ahead and bring it back. Okay. And then this one here is mirroring, meaning it will face the other direction. You will use that if you're using heat transfer vinyl for sure, because you have to lay the heat transfer vinyl down, face down, and especially with words, you'd end up with things backwards. So you just click on this to make it be mirrored. This one here will create a draw line inside, and this is for fabric mainly to give you a seam allowance. And in your wrench here, you actually set your seam allowance and how wide you want it to be. So I'm going to say okay and come back here. So if we go out to cut this, you can see that there's a cut line. If you'll watch what stays. If I click on cut, it's going to just be that outside line. If I click on draw, it's just the inside. So that way you can put a pen in, draw your seam allowance, and then do the cut. Or it also gives you an outline if you wanted to do that with paper. So let's go back in here, and I'm going to get rid of that feature because I don't want to do that. And let's do 3 of these, okay? So you have these 3, and I'm going to move them apart. And then I'm going to select them all, say OK. And in this nudge area, this is a new button that allows for alignment. So I'm going to align them all at the top. Okay. And then I'm going to, let's say, align them along the horizontal line. So now they're all in line, both at the top and in sequence. So that's for alignment. And then I can take this one here, and this groups them together. And so what happens now is, and this used to be a feature that was permanent, and now it's not. So I can move these as a group now, but if I unclick it, they stop being a group. You see the lines there. Now, if I nudged, say, this one over, if I click over and I nudge this one over so that it overlaps, and then I'm going to do this and I'm going to overlap it over here. Now I want to select all of them, and I'm going to weld them together. And so now you'll see that they are one piece and they're all welded together. So it's going to cut as those 3 together. So those are the various different features within the edit screen, and have some fun playing with those.